to come out here and just enjoy this moment.
You guys were down 12 going into the fourth quarter. What changed in the fourth quarter?
The group that started the fourth quarter, I think, did a great job setting the tone. Jalen attacking, Rob got a lob dunk, and that just kind of got us going. And from that point on, we felt like we're going to stay solid, continue to fight, and that's what we did.
I gotta admit, as a Los Angeles Lakers fan who officially gets a free pass to root for the Golden State Warriors in this NBA Finals because the Lakers and the Celtics just don't like each other, I can finally understand the pain and the anguish that Warriors fans have gone through during the Golden State Warriors shortcomings. Now, I wanted to start this video off by saying that was an awesome game one. I mean, anytime you have a less experienced team steal home from the greatest dynasty of the past decade in a game that they weren't supposed to win, it typically sets the stage for a very exciting NBA Finals. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow, and check us out on TikTok because we've been making a push over there lately. Now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro. This video is sponsored by DraftKings. Hoops fans, the latest offer from the DraftKings Sportsbook is just way too good to pass up. New customers can bet just $5 on any team and get up to $150 in free bets, which if you're doing the advanced calculus in your head, that's 30-to-1 odds on your $5. In addition to this, DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet on games using same game parlays, which combines multiple bets in the same game for a significantly bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you earn. And the best part is, if you think that's already a little too complicated, DraftKings already has same game parlays for you to bet on. All you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, use my promo code TheFlightMike, bet $5 on any team, and get $150 in free bets. That's promo code TheFlightMike at DraftKings Sportsbook, and thank you, DraftKings, for today's sponsorship. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? In my prediction video with the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics, I predicted that the Golden State Warriors would win this entire series in 6 games. Now, obviously it's only been 1 game, but the reason I'm bringing that up is one of the main focal points I made for the Boston Celtics in order to succeed in this NBA Finals versus the Golden State Warriors was to ensure that Jason Tatum stays hot. And for the first quarter of the NBA Finals, Jason Tatum didn't necessarily do what Jason Tatum was known for doing. I mean, the man came out and the greatest contribution that he had was the fact that he was able to rack up 7 assists in the first 2 quarters. Now, what's interesting is throughout this entire game, Jason Tatum struggled mightily. I mean, the man scored 12 points off of 3 of 17 shooting from the field, was able to grab 5 rebounds, and was able to dish 13 assists, which I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect at all whatsoever. What was crazy about this is the fact that Steph Curry was absolutely on fire during that first quarter for the Golden State Warriors as well. The Boston Celtics went into halftime with a 2-point lead. Following halftime, the Golden State Warriors started pulling away, dropping 38 points in the third quarter alone to Boston's measly 24. And then, I don't know what adjustment Ime Udoka made, but it seemed like Steph Curry was struggling mightily from that point on. It seemed like the former unanimous MVP was not able to get his shot no matter how much he tried. In addition to this, it was clear that the franchise cornerstone for the Boston Celtics would not be able to step up in this instance, and Jason Tatum was struggling mightily, which was one of my keys for the Golden State Warriors to be able to succeed. And ultimately, it seemed like what was my personal #1 most important factor for any team being built, the fact that a team should be as deep deep as freaking possible, something that I completely roasted my Lakers for all season long because I never am a believer in being a top-heavy team at all. It seemed like the Celtics' depth finally paid off. All of a sudden, you started seeing contributions from players like Marcus Smart. Jaylen Brown is obviously expected to contribute, but you also saw players like Derek White picking up the slack. Peyton Pritchard was able to contribute 8 points, but most importantly, probably the hero of this game is none other than Al Horford, being able to drop 26 points off of 9 of 12 shooting 6 of 8 from 3, and most importantly, the Boston Celtics were able to lock down not only Steph Curry in the fourth quarter, but also Klay Thompson wasn't able to get his shots. Draymond Green was an absolute non-factor, at least in terms of scoring. He clearly was able to grab some rebounds and dish 5 assists, and he also had 2 steals. It seemed like, unlike the Boston Celtics, the Golden State Warriors didn't necessarily have someone to lean on once Steph Curry was being locked down on. I mean, you had Jordan Poole being hyped up all series long, and rightfully so. Jordan Poole, up until this point, has been absolutely masterful, but in this entire game, in 25 minutes, Jordan Poole went 2 of 7 from the field. His plus minus was 19, and he only scored 9 points, which, don't get me wrong, if this was during the mid-2010s where you had Klay Thompson still in his prime, and the way to stop Steph Curry was still a little bit more ambiguous, I feel like you could get away with that. But unfortunately, that's not necessarily what ended up happening. At the end of the day, the Boston Celtics were able to lock down Steph Curry, and no other members of the Golden State Warriors were able to step up in probably the most important points of that game. Now, there's a statistic that says the team that wins the first game of the NBA Finals tends to win the NBA Finals 71% of the time. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case. I mean, the Celtics could very well win it, and they've been absolutely fantastic on the road, to their credit as well. They've been 8-2 on the road this postseason, and this was their 4th straight road win. But for the most part, I think there's multiple factors that contributed to the Golden State Warriors' demise, at least in this game. One was the fact that clearly no one was able to pick up the slack in the fourth quarter for Steph Curry once the Boston Celtics were keying in on Steph Curry. Another problem was the fact that Steve Kerr wasn't capable of making an adjustment to Ime Udoka's scheme in the fourth quarter. Now, the Warriors do have a few days to come up with a game plan in order to try to neutralize the Boston Celtics for the next game, but my question is, who is going to be tasked with guarding Al Horford? Which is a very legitimate question. I mean, Al Horford's versatility was on full display this game. In a game where the Celtics needed him the most, who do you put on Al Horford if you're the Golden State Warriors? Draymond Green is too small, and when Al Horford was being defended by him, he absolutely abused him. Kevon Looney is a little bit too slow and lacks the perimeter defense to close out on Al Horford, and as a result, Al Horford shot 6 of 8 from 3. It is truly remarkable to me that this man signed with the Philadelphia 76ers after his previous stint with the Boston Celtics, ended up being called horrible things like washed and past his prime for quite some time, got exiled to the OKC Thunder, and was placed in a situation where he didn't even play for the team before finding his way back to the Boston Celtics for the contract that he rightfully deserved. And right as he got traded back to the Boston Celtics, the Celtics went from a team that were considering breaking up Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, a team that was seemingly lost, that had no direction whatsoever, that had Danny Ainge step down as a result of how horrible things were going for them, as a team that saw Brad Stevens get elevated to a front office position, something that we haven't seen successfully done in quite some time, to a team that not only boasted the best defense in the entire NBA, but was able to step up right when it mattered the most, and was able to defeat the Golden State Warriors. Yes, I'm a Los Angeles Lakers fan, but you have to give credit where credit was due. The Boston Celtics played awesome basketball tonight, and as a result, they were able to steal Game 1 of the NBA Finals. I hope we have more games like this, man. It was nice, it was competitive, it was gritty, you were on the edge of your seat the entire game. Let me know in the comment section down below what your prediction is. I'm sticking with Warriors in 6, but that's because it was my original prediction. But I think it's going to be a hell of a series. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.